A former banana actor is asking Singapore's highest court to overturn his conviction, and what makes this appeal important is not simply that the defense disputes the verdict. The Court of Appeal itself has said it needs more time to examine the evidence before deciding what happens next. Lev Panfilov, a 30-year-old Russian national and Singapore permanent resident, was convicted of 2 counts of rape, 1 count of sexual assault by penetration, and 1 count of molestation involving a woman he met on Tinder. The offenses were found to have taken place at his condominium on January 12, 2021. He was sentenced in May 2025 to 11.5 years in jail and 12 strokes of the cane. His lawyers are now seeking an acquittal on all 4 charges. The central issue is consent. There were no eyewitnesses to what happened inside the bedroom, so the original trial depended heavily on whether the woman's account was sufficiently reliable. The High Court previously found her evidence unusually convincing and convicted Panfilov. At the appeal, however, the defense highlighted several points it says create reasonable doubt. One involved whether the woman screamed. A doctor's contemporaneous notes recorded her saying that she screamed during the assault. At trial, she said she wanted to scream, but did not. A flatmate who was inside the apartment reported hearing no commotion. The defense also questioned a pair of bloodied underwear later given to police. It argued that the blood could have come from her menstrual period rather than an injury. The Health Sciences Authority had previously said testing to distinguish the source was possible, but that test was not carried out. Another focus was CCTV footage, showing the woman leaving the apartment. The appeal judges discussed whether her physical appearance in the footage was consistent with parts of her account. Chief Justice Sundaresh Menon stressed that this was about examining physical evidence, rather than assuming how a sexual assault victim should behave. Post-incident text messages were also examined. Panfilov asked whether she had reached home safely, and she replied positively. The Chief Justice questioned how that exchange fitted with the prosecution's account of what happened. But there is an important distinction here. Questions raised by appeal judges are not the same as a ruling that the original conviction was wrong. The prosecution defended the complainant's account and offered explanations for several of the inconsistencies. That is why this case matters beyond the personalities involved. Sexual offense cases can depend heavily on testimony when nobody else witnesses what happened. Courts must avoid stereotypes about how victims supposedly behave, while still testing evidence carefully enough to protect the accused from an unsafe conviction. The Court of Appeal has reserved judgment, meaning Panfilov remains convicted unless and until the court rules otherwise. No date for the decision has been announced. So, where should the line be drawn when a case depends heavily on one person's account, but parts of that account appear inconsistent with other evidence? Share your view below, and if you value clear Singapore news explainers, like this video, share it and subscribe to 2230.